Yo, what's going on, everybody? I just want to hit y'all with this Game Time Audible, and if you ain't hear it by now, you doing a solo show today. I got a lot of stuff in store for y'all, man. I'm paying homage, and you know how I do, man. I got my football talk, NBA. I even got a little golf in there, man. I'm gonna talk about a little bit. It's gonna be briefly about the MLB lockout as well. It's going to basically be some topics just hitting close to home and around the sports world. I wanted to do it on Wednesday, but I'm a little under the weather, so definitely wasn't able to do it like I wanted to at the time. But here I am, man. We about to get to it. Oh, and look at who's in the building. That's funny, man. It's funny seeing you on this side of the board, E, man. What's good, man? How everything going, brother? Yeah, man. I want to give everybody a chance to sit down, get them something to drink, get them some snacks. Hey, get back with us, man. We about to hit this commercial break and give y'all time to join the show, and we'll be seeing y'all soon. We about to hit this commercial break, and we're gonna be on with the show. So give us a minute, and we'll be right back.
Hello, hello, hello. It's another glorious day, my tea sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your comfort together because it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat.
Can't wait. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling.
What's up, everybody? Eric Buckner
Yeah.
here. You know Miss EB, Young Easy, Eric Buck, all that good stuff. Anyway, I'm here to kick it with y'all about this little podcast I've been doing. You know, I talk trending topics. I talk about the stuff we as people need to talk about. I talk about some things actually that people kind of want to shy away from because we got to have these discussions, folks. That's how we get better. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, hold on. Yeah, so anyway, you know, I do it Tuesdays, 8:30 p.m. You can check it out on Facebook, on YouTube. You know, it's a good show. I say get into it. Yeah, you want to know the name of the show? You said, hold on. Hey, you, get off my lawn. Yeah, anyway, that's the name of the show, by the way. Get off my lawn. Check it out Tuesdays, 8:30 p.m. Let me go handle this.
Come on down. Okay, black on. Get into it. Black on. Look at that. David Ford. Right there. That's his thing. Black on. He don't know Tom. Look at that. David Ford. That's his thing. He don't know Tom. Yeah. Yes. Oh, here we go. Oh, I can see the demons. I can't see the demons, but I can see the light.
We are creating black luxury across this country.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Wanted y'all to get y'all a chance to relax, kick back, get a few things in order. We back on the board, man. I want to talk to y'all and give y'all some of the topics I wanted to talk about. One of the first things is I definitely got to pay homage to this man who paved the way for a lot of the black athletes, more or less Tiger Woods. Lee Elders, man, he passed away last week at the age of 87, and I definitely had to give him his roses, man. Most times people say they want to get their flowers when they're here and alive and well, but in this case, man, he had such a phenomenal career that I would definitely I definitely got to talk about it. That's something that was hitting me deep and close to my heart. I read about it and kind of read up on this gentleman and just really like what I heard, man. And good dude. First black man to play in the Masters, an honorary starter in the 2021 Masters alongside Jack Nicklaus and Gary Players. And that's huge, man, because we don't really have too many black athletes in golf. And for the most part, all we knew was Tiger Woods. And when I read up on Lee Elders, man, it really surprised me. And I know a lot of people who joined the show told me before that it was a lot more guys who was in golf and who were African American athletes before the Tiger Woods. And just really feels sad to me to do my research and look him up now that he's dead. But he was a four-time PGA Tour winner and teed it up for the first rounds in the Augusta Nationals in 1975. And he had a historic debut and played in 5 Masters and 34 major championships. And he put up 7 top 25 finishes. So that's huge, man, because before Tiger was making all his money, you had Lee Elders paving the way. And who knows what he had to go through back in the time, man. And even though it was the 70s, but then you still had a lot of people, you know, who had racist rants about him and had issues with him. And just to see what this man did and how he persevered, man, it definitely makes me proud and definitely should be a part of our Black history. Thanks for speaking about this. More people should know about this man accomplishment. Yeah, man, appreciate that, E, man. Definitely appreciated looking at him and seeing all the things that he's done in the game too. Here's his victories in the tours, man, included 1974 Mansano Open. He won 1976 Houston Open, 1978 Great Milwaukee Open, and once again, the 1978 American Express Westchester Classics. His best finishes was in T11, where he put together at the 1974 PGA Championship, and then 5 years later in 1975 in the U.S. Open. 22 years after that, guess what? Tiger Woods, man. Yes, the man, the myth, and the legend had his first green jacket, the first black man to have a green jacket. So that was good too, man. And me and E-Buck was talking, and we had a conversation and saying that's what brought Tiger Woods' dad into wanting to play golf and to mentor Tiger Woods to being the player that he is today. He's definitely one of the best. Speaking of Tiger Woods, I know he's trying to make his comeback. He didn't really say too much about it, but then, you know, you seen videos of him, man, and he was basically taking shots, and he want to do the PGA Tour again, but he don't want to do too many, and he want to go part-time. I don't think that he can hold up like he could before as a youngster. He had his bumps and bruises, but at the same time, that man accomplished so much, he really don't have much to prove. But I still feel like him going and playing into golf and going into some of the golf tournaments would definitely bring a lot of money and revenue, man. That's usually some of the best tournaments, and that's where they gross most of the money when Tiger Woods is playing, because they want to see if he can win it all. And even if he don't, it's just good to see him and still competing at a high level. So I'm definitely glad to hear that he wants to come back and he wants to do it big. I don't think he'll be able to do, and a lot of people might have high expectations when he do come back, but I don't think that he'll be able to come back full time. But just seeing him, period, to be something that I'm looking forward to. Glad the Tiger is still just able to live somewhat a normal life, let alone to be able to play golf again. Yeah, man, because with that tragedy that he had, I think of like last year, I didn't think he was going to be able to, you know, really walk again, let alone, you know, to be able to play golf and to do like things that he done in the past. I'm just blessed that he up and walking and he's doing well, man. But that guy, man, he got a fighting spirit. That's why his first name is Tiger, man. To have that accident that he did, it didn't take him that long to start walking and trying to gain the strength back and get himself together. And to see him now saying that he wants to play golf again, I know it ain't going to be full time, but that's huge, man, because a lot of people probably after the accident and the things that he's been through, I probably would have retired by now. I wouldn't even have it in me to go back and to do anything of that magnitude right now. I definitely want to talk about Lee Elders and brush off into Tiger Woods. I definitely want to talk about the lockout too. I wasn't going to bring too much into it. I just feel like right now it's a travesty because MLB starting to lose his spunk, as I could say. It's a great sport. I love watching baseball. It's America's game to me still, regardless. I know people feel like they get fed up and don't want to hear me talk about it, but it's my show today. So I'm going to say whatever the hell I want to say. And I'm going to talk about baseball. The lockdown, man, is something that I wasn't really too happy about, but then I understand and I look at the players' perspective, and what they want is they don't want to be took into these long-term contracts and be drawn out to where they get old and don't be able to get another big contract. You know, you had the A-Rods who had like a good 2-3 contracts, and you had Albert Pujols had 2 really good contracts, maybe 3. I think he had 3 because he gave them a hometown discount the first time, and he got like a pretty decent contract. And now he was at the end of his last contract just recently. But besides that, you had guys who got stuck in contracts, man, like the Mark Teixeiras and the guys who had these long drawn out contracts, and they retired because they couldn't compete anymore because they were past their prime. I feel like that's what the youngsters are fighting for now, and I think they should give it to them. But I feel like it was very disrespectful from when I read the article and they were saying that these young men wasn't even being paid attention to. I believe when they were having the talks on the lockdown, they were saying something crazy like it was only 3 minutes that the owners had with them, and there was only 3 minutes time they gave the guys, and I think that made them fed up and to go into the situation right now. Can't believe baseball allowed itself to get to this situation again. Yeah, me and you both, E, because I feel like baseball is kind of losing its edge. You know, you got your basketball and football starting to get all the publicity, and I feel like baseball don't get the credit where it's due. And to have this lockout right now is definitely not going to help. They can't afford this to be a long-term lockout. Not at all. They mess around to do that, man. People will probably forget about baseball altogether. And, you know, it was a lot of good things going on, man. Like a lot of the free agents and the hot stove was heating up with the players. Some of the teams like the Texans, Rangers, and the Detroit Tigers, they were getting guys. I really was happy with the Javier Baez situation because they said they were going to try to spend big money. And we already had 2 sneaky, guys that was on our roster, the starting pitcher, and we had the catcher as well. But to get Javier Baez, that just basically let me know that we was on the market, because not only did we get Javier Baez, but at the same time, we still have enough money, and we got him relatively for cheap. And right now, we're going to not see a Trevor Story, or we're not going to see anybody else get picked up until this is all said and done. I think they're basically want too much in a contract, and I don't think that's what people are trying to give right now, man. They want like at least a 6-7 year contract and at least no more than 100-200 mil. That's still a lot for the sport of baseball. But now guys are getting greedy when they see those 375 million contracts and the money that Bryce Harper made. And I just feel like right now, if they don't get the guys in shape and get them together, and if this draws out, baseball is going to be an afterthought. The Tigers signed 3 all-star players to add to the team. Definitely good for them. Man, I definitely feel like without the all-stars, as good as they did, I was really excited. But I just want them to get into contention again, man. I want them to go to the playoffs, make a good, deep playoff run, because we still haven't had a World Series win. We went to the World Series, but we got swept both times. We need to get a win, man, and I would love to see them get one now. I think the last time we had a World Series title with the Tigers was like 1984, and I didn't remember that. I was a kid, so I would definitely like to see more of the baseball situation, and hopefully the lockout won't be that long. But until then, all I can say is I wish them the best. I hope they can find some type of ground and get some negotiations done so they can get back into the swing of things. No pun intended. All right, y'all. I want to get into the powerhouse games. And I know that's what E was waiting for, man. He usually make fun of me about me talking about the football, but man, I'm anxious to talk about this, man. This has been a long time coming, 10 years in the making. This is the first game we're going to talk about. Michigan being the cream of the crop again. Yep, I said it, the cream of the crop. Ohio State versus Michigan. I was a little nervous about this game because I felt like with the Michigan State game and a game plan that Jim Harbaugh put together, I didn't think that he'd be prepared. I feel like it was some mishaps in that game, and I still felt like Michigan could have won. I thought that they got too cute at times, and they wasn't sticking to their game plan. Go blue, yeah, you said it. Go blue, baby. I feel like what I wanted them to do was just continue to ground and pound the ball, pass the ball when they should have on that Michigan State game. And I just felt like it was kind of a letdown, but this made up for everything because, man, Hassan Haskins, man, he ground and pounded, man. He had a historic day. That guy had 169 yards and 5 touchdowns. He was unstoppable. And I looked at that game and I said, man, all they did was stick to their game plan. And I was glad that Jim Harbaugh stuck to his guns. I think the good advantage was too, even though I know we're two teams who play in the cold, but for Michigan to ground and pound like they did, and it was at our home stadium, the crowd was ruckus, man. It was just amazing. But the thing was, what I didn't like about the game is many times in the past, Ohio State whipped our tails, man. They gave us ass whooping after ass whooping. But what hurt my feelings was the fact that, and this is on the Ohio State side of the ball, they basically got to the point where you could tell they had frustration. Weather definitely played a big factor. Hell yes, it did. I think it being cold like that, man, and they didn't want to really throw the ball that much. They ran the ball down their throat, and it worked, man. Ohio State people got to understand that that's a stout defense. And not only did we punch them in the mouth, but we basically backed them into a wall and put them into submission. I couldn't go without saying, too, that Aiden Hutchinson, man, those 3 sacks he had was huge. The one thing I'm a little nervous about is, most of those guys are seniors. I hope that our class coming in the recruit, I definitely hope for them to be well. I hope that we get a lot of 5-star guys to get us back to where we are right now because to have a dominant Michigan team and an Ohio State team playing against each other and was in like the top 5 or the top 10 rankings, that was big, man. That does a lot for Big Ten football. I felt like the 42-27 definitely shocked me, and I didn't think they were going to beat them that bad, but hey, I'll take it anyway, man. Go blue. Another huge game to me, and this is a game I definitely got stones thrown at me. One of the hosts talked a little junk about me. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He thought that I was going to bash Alabama with this game, the Iron Bowl game, of course, what I'm talking about. I thought they did a really good job, man. And I was telling E before in the past, and I've told you guys that you heard me discuss it on the show. I just didn't feel like Alabama had the grit. They wasn't grit. They wasn't battle tested. It seems like just the mental mistakes that they made was upsetting me, and it was like making me say, this is not an Alabama team. We so proud of my Wolverines and happy for Coach Harbaugh. Yeah, we should be, man, because this was a long time coming. This actually saved his job, too, because I felt like if he would have lost to Michigan State and turned around and lost to Ohio State this year, they would have went after someone else and felt like, hey, man, we can't continue to lose to these teams. We need somebody who can at least, if we don't win against anybody else, beat these 2 teams. That's the way you keep your job in Michigan, beating Michigan State and beating Ohio State. And that was a good coaching job from him. He stuck to his game plan for once. I think all that trying to be fancy and do that wildcat and do that finesse stuff and get people off guard, it doesn't work all the time. I'm just glad that he did what he had to do and finally to pull off the victory. And it was a sweet thrashing, too. It was a good victory on that behalf. All right, I don't want to get back off. I don't want to get off the topic, but the Alabama Auburn game, I was a little upset at first. Had some nasty words for Alabama and Nick Saban. I just didn't feel like they were playing at their best and at a high level. The halftime score was 10-0, and I said, "What the heck is going on?" I said, "Well, at least they still got a fighting chance." But Auburn played lights out, and that's one thing I had to realize. Yeah, even though Auburn's not ranked, but when it's in the SEC, it's like a playoff caliber football all day, every day. Okay, here we go. Whatever. But when it comes to Alabama, I just didn't think that they had the heart this year and the passion of the old teams. They showed me that they had that in that game, definitely with that 97-yard drive when Bryce Young went down all the way down the field and scored and tied the game and took them into overtime. I was pissed at first when he kicked that field goal, first and foremost. I was like, what are they doing, man? They don't have that much time left and didn't think they were going to have enough time. But to pull off that victory, man, it was weird too, man, because it was very exciting. I know a lot of Alabama fans was, probably upset because they felt like that game shouldn't have went that far. But this was an Alabama team who were defeated in the first half. They didn't look like they were playing Alabama football. They were making mental mistakes, snaps, fumbles, and just I felt like Auburn defense was all over them, man. It seems like Auburn was the big brother at this point in the game. But to see them and go through the adversity and to take it into overtime, 4 overtimes at that, and to pull it out, that showed me. I said Alabama is basically they are who I thought they were. And I had a conversation with one of my homeboys. I'm gonna just keep that between us. I wouldn't be surprised that if this Alabama team could show up Saturday and play mistake-free football, I wouldn't be surprised if they can knock off Georgia. I might be wrong, but I doubt it. It definitely was a gritty win. Yeah, that was something they needed too, because I feel like Nick Saban coached them up and he gave them a great game plan, but I just don't feel like they go out there and they execute it. And that's what made them look like very vulnerable in that game. And I know that Bill O'Brien is on the offense, but for the most part, that defense too is structured by Nick Saban because he's a defensive mind coach. But to see that 24-22 win, I was really relieved, man, because I was at the edge of my bed. I was about to fall out. I was having a panic attack. I'm running up and down, man. I probably burned a few calories. But at the end of the day, they pulled through. So roll tide. Before the show, we discussed not to talk about MSU and Penn State football because guess what, you guys? I love you, Pride, but the boys ain't relevant. So we on to the next one. If the Wolverines can do it, they could do. I mean, they could too. They have all year to prepare for Georgia. Georgia too, man. They look like college jargonons, man, but they got some weaknesses, man. It was just a lot of people didn't expose them. I think Kentucky was the closest team to expose them in some of their errors and some of their ways, because that was the only team who didn't get blew out really bad. And that's why I'm not really talking about Georgia right now, because the Georgia Tech game was ridiculous because they didn't even let Georgia Tech score, and I don't even think they're in their league right now. But I definitely feel like Georgia had some games where they competed and they were battle tested. But a lot of those games, too, were at home. I want to see what they could do on a road or in this situation, the neutrals area where you're going to have maybe 50-50 fans. And I just want to see how those young quarterbacks perform. You got a lot of seniors on both ends of the ball, but I definitely want to see what they do. Go Blue. Yeah, you're right about that, baby. I definitely hope that I wouldn't mind seeing them pull it out, man, because right now I felt like, and it hurt my heart, and it's hurting my heart to say this, but if Bama can't do it, I feel like if Michigan can play their smash mouth football and don't try to do all those crazy trick plays like the Wildcats and all these spread crappy plays that they've been doing and just stick to their guns, I think that they could beat Georgia, man, because of that defense is so stout. And then speaking of, hey, what's up, Coach V, man? I have to say something, man. As a man, I always admit when I'm wrong. I definitely think that not only this Michigan team could compete with Alabama, but they could compete with Georgia and knock them off. To see them win a championship now on this level, that'll be awesome. And I'd give so much more credit to my man's Harbaugh that I definitely feel like they deserve right now, because I don't feel like we got the respect we deserve. And to leapfrog Alabama, even though they had that really good gutsy win, I still feel like Michigan, man, whooping on Ohio State like they did, they deserve that number 2 slot. I didn't really too much care for the number 7 Oklahoma State and Oklahoma game, because I felt like Oklahoma, once they got beat, they were exposed and they didn't execute their game plan as well as they did in the past. And they were barely winning some of them games. And it was just only a moment of time where they lost a game, and now they lost multiple games. The 37-33 score didn't really show much, but it showed that Oklahoma, for the most part, when it comes down to winning and being in the trenches, I just didn't feel like they had enough. And unfortunately, I got to get into these two things as well. That's going to bring me into the next topic. But before we get into those topics, man, we're going to take another brief commercial break, and we'll get back with you. And I'm going to talk about the two shocking situations that went on in college football with the coaches trading schools and going to different schools. And I just want to talk about how they all feel about that. Do you feel like they were right, or do you feel like they were wrong the way they actually did what they did? That Georgia and Bama game is going to tell a lot. College football playoffs. Yeah, because I definitely feel like, and I'm just being honest, I know if Georgia so happened to lose, it's still going to be like, well, Georgia whipped on everybody this year, and they should have a chance. But Bama only lost the game, and if they basically win that game, it's like a lot of times it'd be so much questions, and it's so many question marks, because I feel like the SEC is a great conference. They're a powerhouse conference, don't get me wrong. I just don't feel like the Big Ten is getting the credit that they deserve. With Michigan doing as well as they did, State doing as well as they did, and to have Ohio State to be in that situation for so long, to always been in the top 10. At one point, we were all in like the top 7. And I just feel like we should get the credit that we deserve. In a SEC school, if they lose, like if Bama lose twice, they definitely shouldn't go to the playoffs. I still feel like if Georgia lose too, they should be the 5th seed, and they should be on the outside looking in, unless something else happened with some of the top ranked teams. So that'll be put into question. But if they definitely beat Alabama, man, then that'll definitely eliminate them. And then it's going to be a new top 4, which I feel like if Georgia beat them, they'll stay number 1. Michigan will be number 2. You'll have a different number 3, which might be like Cincinnati. And I don't know who will be your number 4 yet. But, yeah, it'll definitely change the complexity of the playoffs race. And definitely want to see this weekend's going to happen and how the playoffs will shape up. But, we will definitely get back with y'all and take this brief commercial break. And I will break down what happened with the 2 coaches transfers. All right, stay tuned.
Night in the Hawk Network presents Pastor Sean Love. Pastor Sean Love, devoted father and husband, a residing pastor at the River Rouge Bible Assembly in River Rouge, Michigan. Join him as he gives us messages from God's Word, Bible study, and encouragement. You can find him on YouTube under Sean Love. Have you been scrolling Facebook and looking for that quick sports fix? Want a quick peek of what's going on in the latest sports news? Check out Pure to the Game Sports Blog with the sports guru, Hugh Lee. He'll get you together. Check it out. Follow it on Facebook. Make sure you like it.
Discretion is advised.
Behind the Blue Curtain, Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Unscripted talk on police reform and race relations.
And now, Behind the Blue Curtain's law enforcement liaison, retired 32-year Chicago police veteran, homicide detective, former commander, sergeant, grant writer, lecturer, and adjunct professor, Joseph J. Mosley.
Behind the Blue Curtain's Minister of Common Sense, former 12-year Fort Worth police officer, educator, voice of reason, and unapologetic practitioner of sound judgment, the young scholar, LaRonda Young.
Behind the Blue Curtain's co-host, fact checker, and investigative journalist, Isidoro Rodriguez.
Yeah, I just seen your message, Coach V. You're right, man, and it's unfortunate, man, but you're right. The SEC is a strong conference, man, and by them running through everybody like they did, I was a little upset with the Georgia Tech game, but at the same time, it was like a lot of the other schools, like the Alabamas and a lot of the SEC schools in general, played a lot of hand-me-down trash teams. You know, it was like basically scrimmages warming up for the next contestant. So yeah, I definitely feel like if Georgia lose, they'll just slip the number 4, man. And regardless of the fact, no matter who's undefeated, like Cincinnati, I don't think they'll go because I don't feel like they played a lot of really top-ranked great teams. I mean, the best victory they had was beating Notre Dame. And now I don't really consider them actually doing anything because Notre Dame still a legit team, but they lost a couple of games, and I don't feel like that they're even in the conversation anymore. I say if Georgia loses, they fall to 3. Yeah, man. If they do, man, 3, that's crazy, though. Who do you think would be 4? You think Cincinnati stay at 4 or be at the number 4? Because, yeah, I definitely will be interested what happened with that whole situation because – yeah, man, with them SEC teams, man, when they go undefeated, even if they lose a game at the end of the year, I still feel like they'll still not drop as far as the team should because of their heavy and stiff competition over there. If it is close, they still may be ranked 1. Oh, you think so? Dang, that'd be kind of messed up, man. I'd be pissed off. So, when you're saying that, are you saying if Alabama beats them and it's a close game that they'll still be number 1, or if it's a close game and Alabama loses? Yeah, because I say Cincinnati should make the playoffs if they win regardless. They definitely should, man, because they playing lights out, man. They were really good last year. To see them be this rank, be high rank like they are and kept it that way and been playing really hard-nosed football, I definitely have to give more credit where credit is due for them because I definitely didn't think that Cincinnati would hang like that. But the Bearcats proved me wrong, man. I don't know what they're doing down there, man. A lot of people been paying more attention to Ohio State, and they always give Ohio State their props, but they were just basically in the trenches. They kept quiet. They just went about their business, man. They kept their head down, played hard-nosed, great football, and that's why I feel like they're getting the respect that they finally deserve, too. I definitely want to talk about the 2 coach changes, too. It was funny to me because I was surprised with the whole ordeal. I knew that Lincoln Riley, once everything happened, that he was going to leave. I'm going if everyone wins. Georgia, Michigan, Cincy, and Notre Dame. Okay. Yeah, most definitely. I don't think that Georgia would leave their number 1 spot if they win and it's a close game. They definitely will have to stay. I don't think that they'll get leapfrogged because of the competition that they played. And, yeah, it'll be hurtful, but I think Alabama would drop down to like number 8 or something of that nature if they lose. But, yeah, man, I think Michigan stuck up that number 2 spot right now. Man, Notre Dame jump up to 4. I don't know, man. They don't really show me much in the playoffs, man. Some of the last few times they went to the playoffs, they got embarrassed, man. So yeah, but we'll see, man, because right now that's one of the guys I want to talk about too. Coach Brian Kelly, man, his transfer into LSU. We had discussions about this, me and E-Buck, and what I was saying to people, he did his 10 years, man. He did everything he could do at that school. And we discussed how it was an academic school, and we didn't feel like that they were going to be able to do anymore because all he could do is with that academic scholarship is get the players he could get. He can't really recruit as high or get some of those guys to go to Notre Dame. You know, you're going to have some good athletes and good players over there, most definitely, because it's Notre Dame. But with as far as the academic level, you can have guys do better or go to schools like the LSUs. And LSU being in the SEC, I think that not only that's going to help Brian Kelly out, but he's going to get a lot more good athletes. The recruits going to be better, and a lot of the guys who live in that area are going to compete, and they want to go to that school to beat Alabama, and at the same time beat the Georgias and beat the guys in that conference. And not only that, but I feel like Brian Kelly's a really good coach, man. It was just he was only able to do so much with that Notre Dame team. And now I think the sky's the limit with him being in the SEC. A lot of people didn't like the way the things worked out and what happened. They thought that it was kind of crazy because he called those guys and had a conference call with them like 7 o'clock in the morning and told them what he was going to do. And I still feel like I would have rather talked to those guys as men face to face and told them what was going to happen. But at the same time, at least he told them. I was glad with the coaching change with Marcus Freeman, and he definitely deserved it. I think Oklahoma and Texas joining SEC changes everything. Man, I'm surprised that they wasn't even in the SEC in the first place, man. They're Southern schools. And to see them in the Big 12 and like all these different schools, that kind of had me scratching my head. I thought all the hot climate summer schools were going to definitely be the Southeastern Conference. So, yeah, that surprised me, but definitely glad that they're going to make that move. I'm not losing no sleep because that make the SEC even stronger, in my opinion. Speaking of that, too, with the situation with Oklahoma, man. Now, I think a lot of people were pissed with Lincoln Riley and what he did, but then again, I kind of understand what happened because I don't think it's fair for people to get mad and lash out at Link. That's what I'm gonna start calling him now, Link. But I didn't feel like that was right for people to say, "How dare you do that?" And I know some guys was pissed off because they said they felt like he wasn't loyal to the school and he just left abruptly. I think Texas schools could form their own conference and it would do well. Yeah, most definitely. Because there's some powerhouse schools in Texas, man. And you know, Texas, man, when it comes to football, they shut down everything, man. Most of the guys is on some of these teams that we love, man. Whether it's the SEC, Big 12, Pac 12, you know, Big 10, a lot of them athletes and a lot of those guys come from Texas, man. That's one of the biggest football juggernauts in the world. And I think if they did do that, man, it'll be excellent. It'll be something I'll be looking forward to. I definitely feel like Oklahoma felt blindsided by the move with Lincoln Riley going to the SEC. I'm not USC. I'm sorry, you guys. I apologize. Let me clean that up. Him going to the USC, I felt like they were upset and they felt like they were blindsided. But I can't say that. I definitely don't look at it like he was wrong for that because when they decided and not telling him, just doing what they want to do amongst themselves and say, hey, we're going to the SEC, whether you're with us or not. They didn't, tell, Lincoln Riley and some of the coaches that was the move they was going to make. They decided that amongst themselves. So when Lincoln Riley said he wanted to do what was best for him and go to USC and to, establish himself over there, I think with that move, it might have pissed off some people, but that was the right move for him. And I feel like it was best for him. How come when players and coaches want to do what's best for them, they get frowned upon and say they're not team players. But when it gets to like Oklahoma saying we're going to go to the SEC, oh, that's the best move they made, or I think that was best for the team. And everybody looks at that and feel like when, the owners do it, oh, that's great. But when a player or a coach or somebody have a mind of their own, decide to do what's best for them, then, you throw stones at them. So not really disappointed with that move. I feel like I don't know what's going to happen with Rattler. I know he was definitely talking about he wanted to leave, and that's going to happen as far as the transfer portal. Regardless, he's going to figure out what he's going to do, whether he try to follow Lincoln Riley or go and do his own thing. But I still feel like after he left, a lot of guys are decommitting now from Oklahoma. Is it the right move? I don't know. But when them going to the SEC is definitely going to make room for better competition too. Lincoln Riley was an excellent hire for USC. It was a great hire. We thought your boy, unloyal Lane Kiffin, was going to try to get that job. But yeah, that's cool to actually see him go over there, man. It's well deserved. And I definitely feel like that's a good opportunity for him. And I'm not disappointed that he took it. He should take it and run with it right now because that's going to definitely help him out. The sky's the limit for Lincoln Riley, man. He can definitely help bring more quarterbacks, better yet, Heisman quarterbacks to the fold, man. He did good work with Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, and Baker Mayfield. Those guys are excellent, man. And I feel like that's what he's about. And that's what he's known for, is grooming good quarterbacks and taking them to the next level. All right. I want to get into some of the NBA action too as well right now. And I'm going to discuss some of the games that's going to go on, and I'm going to keep my eye out and see what's going to happen on some of these games as well, because there's going to be some good ones on today. California is an excellent state for recruiting. Man, most of those high climate schools are, man. And definitely Southern California, he's going to get some guys, man. He's going to snatch some people. And a lot of guys going to decommit from California. Them golden, they're definitely going to get some guys from California. They're going to get some guys from all over that area. But yeah, I think Southern California for sure is going to get a lot of guys who's going to want to go over there and play for him, especially the quarterbacks, man. He's going to have a good recruiting class, and I definitely want to see how many 5-star recruits that they get over there and how many guys are going to decommit from Oklahoma and go with him. That's the thing I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen there. It's going to be some big NBA games coming on too, and I want to get into some of these NBA matchups. Tonight is going to be some good games on, some games that I thought that intrigue people and to be of interest. The Boston Celtics and the Utah Jazz. I don't think they're doing as good as they should be doing right now. I don't think that they're playing at the level that we all expect them to, but I definitely think that's going to be a good game. Jaylen Brown came back to the team. They still having some issues over there. When Marcus Smart made his comments before in the past and said that those guys are ball hogs and they don't like to pass the ball and they'd rather shoot. And it'll be 3 people triple and quadruple in them and they'll still shoot the ball. And that brought a lot of stuff to light, man. And I've been hearing so many rumors and just looking at some of the sites, and they were saying Boston people right now on low key are trying to do their damnness and their best to get out of Boston and go to other teams. Boston is a huge disappointment this year, way big of a huge disappointment, man. More of a disappointment than what I thought they'll be, man. I think them and the 76ers are kind of like in the same boat, because as much as I like to see the 76ers when they're all together, spite their differences, I think when they play at a high level, they're a great team as well. But those two teams are underachieving. And I feel like Utah is definitely starting to reach their peak. I think that they're going to have to switch and, trade or probably acquire a couple of players here and there. But the Celtics, man, we always thought that they'll be a championship caliber team and put the Boston Celtics back on the map. It's just they haven't done it yet. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart and the guys that's on the team. I feel like Dennis Schroeder coming over there was a big boost too as well. I think that he contributes well, but I don't know what it is. It's just not, they're not meshing. And I think that there's issues over there. And I think that it won't get resolved until either Jaylen Brown goes his separate way or Jason Tatum. But one of those guys are going to have to go and they're going to have to redraft or start from scratch. That's what the big issue is for me over there because there's too many alpha males over there and they're going to have to separate them. You agree? Yeah, man. It's the first time we have agreements, E. But I want to talk about the Eastern Conference semifinal rematch as well, man. And that's another underachieving team to me. Well, yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I don't want anybody to, come at me and go at my throat. I know Joel Embiid was out for a minute, but at the same time, they still have a talented team over there. And they still have a big man in Andre Drummond over there, if I'm not mistaken. I just didn't feel like they're playing to their potential. Maybe they will, but I just feel like that's one of the teams too as well. We've always felt like was the Mount Rushmore of the Eastern Conference and just never felt like they came to play. They have good records in the regular season, and that's all I look at them as a great regular season team. But when it comes to the playoffs, man, they just seems like they always choke or they always just get right there and they just don't have it in them. And it's going to be interesting, man, because I know they looking at what happened last year and how they got put out in the semifinals. And it seems like Trey Young and all those guys, John Collins, what's my other guy's name over there? I forgot the guy's name from the Houston Rockets, man. He's a good center, too. He's over there playing like so Clint Capella. Clint Capella, that's his name. I knew it would have come to me. But those guys are playing really good, man. I think they could play a little better, but then it's still kind of early in the season. But I still feel like they're going to click at the right time. And they all got the pieces back over there that they needed. And I just feel like all they got to do is just get a little more time together, get that chemistry. But I believe that they'll be one of the teams that we discuss again coming into the playoffs, and they'll make a deep playoff run. This one's right here is one I want to talk about too, the Clippers and the Lakers. If I'm not mistaken, back me up on this one, E. I still feel like LeBron has COVID, man, so he might not be playing in this game tonight, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is a great opportunity for the Clippers to really start to assert themselves because they've been playing at a low expectation too. They haven't been playing at the high caliber that I thought they was. Definitely when they end up getting my man's PG-13 and Kawhi Leonard still out last I heard. Okay. I just don't feel like that's going to be a good matchup for the Lakers, man. It seems like when LeBron's not playing, they play lost. I feel like they try to do too much. Russell Westbrook put too much on his hands, and he doesn't look great when he do that, man. He's all over the place. He plays sloppy. He loses the ball a lot, and he's just out of control. And his shot selection should definitely be better. He needs to pick and choose better shot selection. So that might not be a game that I'm looking forward to now. I might just pass up on that game. Lakers and Clippers are not what I expected so far. Yeah, man, they definitely not, man. They not playing up to the level I thought they would. LeBron, if he's not hurt now, he got the COVID situation. And I just feel like they're not the team that we thought they'll be. It's like maybe both of them teams need to get scrapped. I know this is one last cry for LeBron. I feel like in the playoff run, I feel like some of the pieces over there are good pieces that they had and added on too. But the crazy thing about this too, you guys, with everything they did and all the additions and the people they put on this team, the main guy people ain't talking about who's been the most consistent. Yeah, I said it. Carmelo Anthony. That man has been quiet. He's not having any controversy or anything going on with him. You ain't heard nothing from him, man. He's like born again. I think this opportunity is probably his last opportunity. He played good with the Blazers, don't get me wrong. The Portland Trail Blazers gave him an opportunity, and he cherished it because all the hoopla and all the things that was going on with him, man, didn't look too good. And we didn't want Melo to end his career like that. But to be over there in LA now and playing the way he has been playing, good for you, Melo, man. And just to keep his mouth shut and do what he's been doing, he definitely deserved it, man. A lot of people want to see them make a deep playoff run, but a lot of these teams right now are lower than expected, lower expectations, perhaps. I want to save the best for last because I was going to say this one first, but then I wouldn't feel right talking about this game first. But this is the last week's game rematch, the battle of the best records of the West. The Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Booker is still out. Devin Booker was injured that game. What I was impressed with, he was out that game and they still pulled away and won. And they won convincingly, too. Phoenix was one of them teams that I didn't know what they were going to do after last year. I thought that they reached their sky. I said, well, sky was the limit for them, and they reached that sky. Yes, Booker's out with the bad hamstring. That's not looking good for this matchup right here. I know CP3 going to have to handle a lot more. But at the same time, I want to see what's going to happen. Because if Phoenix can pull that game out, man, that's to show me more about Phoenix than anything right now. Yeah, Golden State's not playing, with a full roster as well. We know that Clay will be back hopefully by Christmas time. But, yeah, man, I'm definitely looking forward to that matchup. Bridges going to have to step up tonight. Bridges definitely have to step up because if they lose this game, they'll be a game behind Golden State. And this is a team that don't have all their pieces, but they're playing at a high caliber. But the Phoenix Suns team is a great team, too. Definitely need more from Ty Poole on the Warriors. Poole, I just feel like he needs to do a little bit more because he has been doing better than I expected to coming out of school. I didn't think coming out of Michigan he was going to excel this fast and be playing at the level he's playing. But that bench is dangerous too, man, to have those kids come off the bench. You got Gary Payton III, and, you got Andrew Wiggins. It's a lot of good guys over there that comes off the bench, and they excel in the game, man. Sometimes the second string guys have more energy than the starters. And that's what you need from a bench, man. Sometimes you just need that boost. So you need that shot of adrenaline that comes to the basketball court and give you the edge. Because the game when they whipped on the Nets, I feel like that game was really more or less because of the bench play, them coming in and putting that spark plug in. And it definitely didn't help that Kevin Durant missed like 7 shots in a row. I'm going Warriors by 5 tonight. You know what? I got them by 10. Definitely. I got them by 10. I feel like they will redeem themselves this game, and I think that my man's Curry got a lot to prove, and he will prove that tonight. If anybody don't want to talk anymore, I would definitely go on too because I definitely want to see some of these games tonight. And I'm still loving what's going on in the NBA. But when it comes down to it, everybody knows my heart is with NFL football. We're going to take a quick break right quick, and we'll get with you guys about that. I want to talk about some of the matches that happened last week. And I'm going to brush up briefly on some of the Thanksgiving games. Don't really want to talk about them, but hey, I feel like they have to be discussed. So give us 1 second, and we'll get back with you after these commercial messages.
not asking for your permission. We're not seeking your approval. We're claiming what's ours in the name of our ancestors. We are their answered prayers. This is more than a movement. This is a revolution. Black innocence. What are yours today?
We back, Game Time Audible. Sports Guru doing the solo tonight. I want to get into the NFL talk. Unfortunately, I got talk about some of these Thanksgiving games. One of them was the Winners Lions and their performance, and I felt like with that game, if we wouldn't win that game, we might go to the point where we go winless this year. That's why I'm calling them the Winless Lions. They didn't win that game, and I don't think they're gonna win a game at all this year. I think the best thing they could have did was tied. I felt like on that first drive, I said we had some hope. Josh Reynolds caught that 39-yard pass. I said, okay, I like what Jared Goff is cooking. And I said, well, I think that's definitely I guess it was a way it was a good direction for us. I said we're going in the right direction, just about to get ready to start eating grub. My sister told me dinner was ready, so I'm excited all around, man. I get to eat. It looks like the Lions for the first time was going to pick up a dub, and all hell broke loose, man. It got to the point where it got so out of hand that I know a lot of people probably was turning off the game because they said the game lost a lot of viewers going into like that third quarter. It was just ridiculous, man. They had that game too. I just felt like they shot themselves in the foot. I didn't feel like my man's Andy Dalton played the best game, but he didn't lose the game for him neither. I felt like we lost the game because we executed poorly. When it gets to the point where you get called 4 times on holding penalties and you went from like a 3rd and 5 to like a 3rd and 38, that's just ridiculous. That's just poor game management. The football game was just atrocious, man. I thought the game with them and the Steelers was bad, but this one might be the icing on the cake. Vikings by a touchdown this week. I have no belief that the Lions will win at all this year, man. I'm feeling the same way, man. I was so disappointed. Yeah, I just didn't feel like that they gave it they all. I can't really blame it on them too as a team. I blame it on the coaching. It was poor coaching. You see those guys on the sideline yelling at the top of their lungs at each other. you seen on the video, man, them just really yelling and just really just really passionately pissed off, and they should have been, because at the end of the game, too, they couldn't get a stop because they got so many penalties. It was penalties to the point we gave them the first downs and got them close enough to kick a field goal to win as the time expired. I just feel like it's just trash football, man. And it's like you hear it from the coaches all the time, and I feel like Dan Campbell basically want them to be in the right direction. He had good intentions for them too, but I just didn't feel like they performed the way they should, man. I just can't blame the players now. I got to blame it on the coaching, because if the coaching is not preparing the guys to go out there to play their best and win, I got to start blaming it on them now. I think Campbell stays, but roster needs a total overhaul, and the coaching staff definitely needs to be revamped. One of the reasons why I feel like that way too is because I just feel like the offensive coordinator, he hit me with his name right quick, man. I'm surprised I can't even think about him right now. The black dude that was on Los Angeles Chargers, man. I know Anthony something. Anthony Lynn. I just didn't feel like they'd be prepared under him, man. And it got to the point it got so bad that he wasn't even calling the plays no more. But they need some type of direction, man. And I just feel like Dan Campbell just make a lot of boneheaded mistakes, man. And I just don't feel like they come prepared. Yeah, they definitely need an overhaul. They need different coaches. They need coaches for us to succeed. I like Deuce Staley. I hope he stay. But other than that, Dan Campbell need an overhaul, man, because I feel like with Anthony Lynn, that's the reason why he lost. Your memory's getting like mine now, man. Whatever, man. But yeah, I was just disappointed, man. I thought that they would be in a better position to at least win a game right now. And right now, it seems like that's asking a lot. And it's sad, man, to be in the situation that they're in. I just feel like Anthony Lynn didn't do well. Well, I'm not saying he was a bad coach, but I believe a lot of his decision making over there with the Los Angeles Chargers is the reason why he was gone. And we was pissed off, and a lot of us said, man, I didn't feel like that was right, because you just had Gabbert, and he was basically a rookie. And they put a lot of pressure on him because they thought Tyrod Taylor was going to be that guy. And when he got hurt, man, it was like Justin Herbert, man, he basically was lights out. And Herbert deserved that, man. I think that he was the best quarterback for that job. They won a lot of games. They lost a lot at the last minute, but I still feel like they could have competed, man. And I just feel like the new coach got a little bit more moxie, man. He takes a lot more risk, and he do things that where they feel like other teams wouldn't. I feel like that's how they beat Kansas City the time when they played them, because he was making all the stops and he was taking a lot of huge risks that other coaches probably wouldn't. And those risks paid off. I just feel like when it comes to the Lions, man, it's just right now, I feel like they just need to get new owners as well. A lot of people be like, we need to get new owners, man. We need to get new everything there. They had opportunities, man. A few games that they could have won, man. Some of those are just, I couldn't believe, like the kick that Justin Tucker made, man. Some of those games you looked at it and you felt like they competed. In some games you just feel like they just got the fight taken out of them. And I just feel like now talking about them, man, makes my head hurt. So I'm going to move on to the next game. Yes, throw the whole Smurfit franchise away right now. I like this game. I don't see H2 around, but I definitely like whenever Dallas lose, regardless of the fact. The Raiders look sharp that game, and they have been looking sharp as of late. You never know what Derek Carr you're going to get, though, man. Some games he played lights out, and some games he just don't show up. But the 373 yards and the touchdown, man, and Josh Jacobs ran for like 87 yards and got a touchdown, and the team was clicking on all cylinders, man. And one thing that people didn't really remembered. When I saw that, I was like, yeah, man, they were like, the Raiders might get stumped by the Dallas Cowboys. I said, well, I'm not sure. Because at the time, that's when all the stuff was happening with COVID, because COVID is still a part of our lives, you know. So y'all mask up, get your vaccinations, and do what y'all got to do, and stop being out here partying and being crazy, and, you know, be smart, man. Even if you don't get vaccinated, man, I'm not telling you what to do, but at the same time, mask up and be safe, man. Amari Cooper wasn't there, and that kind of changed the complexity of the game. CeeDee Lamb got hurt, and he went to the point where he had weapons and not having no weapons at all over there. And Dak looked lost that game. And that damn Deshaun Jackson, man, he caught that one crazy play on the first drive. And I said, man, this guy's impressive, man. He still had that type of speed at his age right now. I think he like 31, 32, and he could still run with the best of them, man. Henry Ruggs was a huge factor in that team. They wanted a guy who can compete with Tyreek Hill as far as speed. And when they made that Las Vegas Raiders team, they made it to match up and go toe-to-toe with Kansas City. And the same thing with Denver. They always trying to get those hybrid receivers and get a hybrid team to compete with them. And I felt like when they lost Henry Ruggs, they lost a lot of they lost a lot of their attitude, man, and their moxie. You know, that made the Raiders who they were. But to see that game, man, Anthony Brown gave up a lot, man. He made so many bad penalties for pass interference, and then on the last drive, it gave them enough to kick a field goal and win. I can't take nothing from Dak Prescott, and poke at them. I'm not gonna kick them while they're down, because I felt like he had a heck of a game, and to bring them back in a game where I didn't really feel like they played well, and to get them all the way to the point where they took the game into overtime just to lose by that, those pass interference calls, that was sad, man. Everybody got injuries on their teams, though, man, and I can't make no excuse for that. I just feel like them losing them 2 games, man, it's like with the Cowboys, and with the exceptions of the last night game, I didn't really feel like they played great, but they won the game and they managed the game. Dallas, I just feel like I'm not afraid, and I don't think they're going to slip off any more than what they already did with those 2 back-to-back losses. But I still feel like we were looking at them, and we were saying from the beginning of the season till now where we stand, Dallas is a good team, and we were looking at them as like, hey, man, they might be good as far as, going to the conference finals or the conference championship or even Super Bowl caliber, but not really knowing right now, man. They got to prove more to me, and definitely after how they played against a poor Saints team. Penalties have been costly in many games this year. Man, it's been way more flags thrown than it should ever be right now. And speaking of, I was surprised the game didn't get called as close yesterday. It was a lot of bad plays on that game, man, and I really still feel like the Cow Babies played good last night defensively. Oh, they played lights out defensively, man. Basically, that game was given to them because I think what really happened too, because don't get me wrong, Taysom Hill was playing good, man. I think that what happened was when he hit his finger and got his finger jammed, he had to wear that slink. That's what kind of took away from him, because he made some really good throws. He made some sharp throws when it counted. And I said, man, the game was actually competitive until he got hurt and his finger was sprained. But after that, man, you could tell the difference. But I'm not trying to be disrespectful or even come off or even bash any Saints fans, but I'm saying what I'm saying right now. I don't feel like he's a franchise quarterback. They paid Taysom Hill all that money, and I don't know why. To be a gadget player, he can run the ball, but he's not a great passer. He passed the ball when he needed to yesterday, and it was decent, but I don't think it's enough to be a franchise, quarterback. And it's funny because when I'm saying this, he's not a black athlete. Most times when you say things like this, it's a black person who they look at and say, oh, he's athletic and he's strong and he can run and he's a hybrid. His throwing's a little suspect. This is actually a white quarterback right now we're talking about. Don't feel like he's the answer. And I like Jameis Winston, but I don't really know if he's the guy that they're looking for in their future. I still feel like it's a quarterback out there that they got to draft to make them competitive again, definitely in their division. The Bills and the Saints game was really a disappointment because they had 2 picks on Josh Allen, but Josh Allen had 260 yards and 4 touchdowns. He gave 2 touchdowns away, or he gave 2 possessions away that you guys and all y'all was able to do was to score 6 points, man. I was definitely disappointed with that game because I thought that they would play better. But the Saints, I feel like they'll bounce back. I just don't feel like this is their year. And the suck part about it all, too, is there ain't really no quarterbacks that you could go out there and get unless you get somebody in free agency. Lord forbid, Matt Corral probably be the number 1 draft pick out of the quarterbacks, man. That's how poor that this draft class is. You know I got to talk about this game, E, man, regardless of the pack. People's laughed at me this year. And H2 was one of them. And I want to know where H2 at right now because of the fact is, when I seen this Patriots versus Titans game, I said, okay, I definitely think that the Patriots will pull it out at home. They're the favorite. But what I looked at more than anything was I said that Derrick Henry's going to make a difference. I'm not trying to be to the point where I get full of myself. But I feel like when Derrick Henry was out the game, that really made the game like uneven. But I still felt like if Derrick Henry was in the game, I feel like Belichick would have had a good enough game plan to beat them because he's not going to let your best player beat him. And at the time, it was Derrick Henry. Now that we look up, man, I really hope King Henry comes back before the playoffs. What I'm hearing is the expectations for Derrick Henry is to come back around January, right around the playoff time. So, yeah, he should be back at that time. I just feel like you don't really have Julio, and Julio hasn't been playing great this year. And I know sucking that in right now because I really thought that he was going to have a great season. I thought he was going to compete, and I thought he was going to do as well as he did in Atlanta and tell everybody, look at me, I'm still Julio. I am who I am. He's not proven that at all. For the most part, he's been injury prone. Him and Brown, A.J. Brown can't stay healthy as well. You got 2 high caliber receivers and you can't throw to them because they're not healthy. And they let Jonnu Smith walk, which he's with New England now, which I don't still feel like he's doing that great in New England. But either way, New England spanked those guys, man. I still feel like with Julio or either A.J. Brown, it would probably been a little different, but I still felt like New England would have came out on top. But 36-13, they basically put a whooping on those guys, man. And will the real Titans team please stand up? You know, I hope Julio and Brown get healthy because going into the playoffs, they need all the momentum they can get right now because losing that game, Baltimore went up to the number 1 seed, and now I think that they're like the 3rd, 4th seed now. I know New England right now leads the division, but to see the Mac Jones' performance, I think that was the best performance he had this year, throwing for 310 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kendrick Bourne had 5 receptions for 61 yards, and he had 2 scores as well. Now, this is the guy who I've always thought was a journeyman on the 49ers and didn't play as good as I thought that he was and to his potential. But I don't know. It's just something about Josh McDaniels when you go into that offense and that high caliber offense. At first, you kind of don't hit your stride because it's a complicated playbook. And a lot of people got to realize that when you go over there to New England, a lot of fans will be pissed off that some of their favorite players go over there, or people will talk down on some of the players when they're not playing at the caliber that they normally play at. It's because of that playbook. It is so complicated. And most times in New England, too, they don't play their best football until November, December, going into the playoffs. And this is the New England team you're getting to see right now. I got high expectations for these guys. I still feel like they'll be in the playoffs and they'll go and make a nice little run. Do I think they can win it all? Anything's possible. I definitely rooting them on, and I give them my best because, you know, I'm a New England fan. But at the end of the day, I still feel like this team got a little bit of growing to do. Mac Jones is a rookie, and he's going to still make rookie mistakes. He's going to have flashes to where he looks great, and he's going to have games where he'll look like a rookie. So he just does what he's supposed to do. And I feel like some of these guys, like the Josh Allens and even the Patrick Mahomes, man, they just need to settle down, play and do the plays that they're given. Don't play hero ball. Take what the defense gives you. And I feel like they won't make as many mistakes. But that man right now is playing like he always have. They had bumps in the road, but I feel like Mahomes is starting to get it together now, and that team's starting to mesh. I definitely feel like that they'll be in a playoff hunt, and I definitely believe that they're still one of the top teams over there. You got to beat the Chiefs to be the Mount Rushmore over in the AFC. Until that happens, we'll see. I'm going to call this game right here the Bullies in the Tundra. I felt like that Packers and Ram game showed a lot. I thought, well, Aaron Rodgers might be in trouble this game. You got a healthy Aaron Donald. You got Von Miller coming from the Broncos. You got two guys who are sack leaders, MVP caliber guys, defensive players of the year, and it's just not meshing right now. LA's trying to buy them a championship. There's nothing wrong with that. They're going to definitely have the bumps in the road. I think the Robert Woods injury is more than what people give credit. And Odell Beckham, a lot of people say he's a curse. I don't believe that. But ever since he's been on that team, they've been 0-3. Rams definitely flopping right now. Yeah, absolutely. I can't blame it on Odell Beckham Jr. because it's not all on him. For the most part, it is Matthew Stafford starting to look like he has on that Honolulu blue and gray again. That's starting to reflect, man. And I read an article that was saying that it just seems like he can't handle the big lights right now. When the big lights are there and he's around the big lights, that he's not playing at the high caliber that he could play at. That is true. I think Stafford is hurt way more than we know. He always played hurt. I think they said he was dinged up that game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said he was dinged up, and he shows his guts and he's still playing. And he had more injuries than what he's playing with right now in the past, playing for us, like the fractured back and crazy things that he was playing with. A lot of it, too, seems like he's lost out there, man. It's like he threw so many pick six. He threw a pick that game, but a pick six, that is. He threw 3 pick sixes in the last 0-3 games they had. Yeah, man, he was throwing a lot of pick sixes, man. But I just feel like some days he come out there and he be confused. And I don't know what it is, but I just don't feel like Matthew Stafford is comfortable, man. They're not going to tell or give up a lot on these injury reports, but something's wrong there, and it needs to be addressed. He's still way better than Goff, most definitely, because Goff's not good at all, man, and they need to go back to the drawing board. They gave him his chance this year, but I don't think he'll be there long. I still feel like with that game, it was more about the Packers' defense, man. Aaron Rodgers made some great plays. I mean, don't get me wrong, with 307 yards and 2 touchdowns, you ain't playing shabby. Randall Cobb was the engine that could. He was definitely the little engine that could. I said, damn. What made me mad, though, is like Randall Cobb went to the Cowboys. He played okay. Randall Cobb went to the Texans. He was kind of obsolete there, and you never really heard much about him. Man, he came back over there, Aaron Rodgers, man, and that dude played like he was playing when he first came to the league. He had the quickness. He was explosive. He was playing tough. It was hard to tackle him, man. He was getting the ball, tucking it in, trying to get extra yards after the catch. The guy looked great, man. When he got hurt, it kind of took away. I think if he still played in that game, the game probably would have been a little different. I think they would have won by a little more. A lot of the points that were scored with Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams was kind of like garbage points as well at the end of the game when we already knew that it was over. I still feel like right now they will get it together. They will play in the playoffs, and I got a good scrimmage game this week where they should definitely win playing Jacksonville. If they lose against Jacksonville, then it's definitely a problem there. But I still feel like they have opportunity to clean up some of the things that's happening right now because any team can win on any given Sunday, man. That's why now it's kind of hard to be doing those sport bets, man. And you never know, man. It's been a weird like 3.5, 4 weeks as of late. That's why you never know, man. They go out there and you look in and you expect someone to win, but hey, it ain't up to us, man. You go out there and like Herm Edwards said, you play to win the game. I just feel like Coach Meyer to Notre Dame. Who, Urban Meyer? Yeah, that'll definitely be interesting. Which coach? Man, you know what, man? There's been a lot of crazy stuff going on, man. I'm glad you brought that up too, man, because that's something I could definitely talk about. I can get on that topic. It's kind of weird what's going on in Seattle right now, man. I don't think that Russ is happy. He never said anything about being there for the future when he had the last interview, which was kind of weird. He kept it politically correct, but he was saying things like, well, he loves Coach, Meyer. They got a great relationship. They talk and, they always had conversations all the time. But whatever the future holds. And he just really had like subliminal messages to where he didn't straight up say that like other guys would say, like with Derek Carr when he was there, I love the Las Vegas Raiders and this is where I want to be. He giving all types of subliminal messages. He ain't saying I love the Seattle Seahawks. I love what we got brewing over here, and I want to continue to stay here. I want to be a lifer. I want to sign, and I want to stay in Seattle. Those are not the words that's coming out of his mouth. I think next year Russ is out of Seattle. I definitely see so, man, because I say so because when you start naming teams, that let me know right then and there because he questioning the help he was getting. He didn't like the help he was getting on the O-line. He felt like he was getting banged up too much. I mean, him and his wife now, man, they have more to live for, man, and look up to, man. They trying to build their brand for one. He don't want to constantly be hurt and banged up. I don't think they like that small market team. 12 man is an awesome team, but I don't think they want to be in a small market neither. That's why he said Chicago and he named like the Las Vegas Raiders and some of those teams, man, because I feel like he want to be a big market right now. And that's what's holding him back, being in Seattle. I feel like he looks at it now like Seattle's holding him back. So any Seahawks fans out there, correct me if I'm wrong, but I definitely feel like that's how he's looking at it right now. He's not happy in Seattle and he wants out. I definitely don't see him being there, man. That can be a good quarterback for any team too, man. You got the Redskins or you know what? Let me clean that up, y'all. I'm sorry. Let me be politically correct. The Washington football team, you got them out there who really desperately need a quarterback, even though I still feel like they're playing well and they're playing manageable football with Taylor Heineke. Just don't feel like he's the future, man. And I like Fitzpatrick and what he have out there, the honest pistol. I feel like that guy, he got a lot of heart, man. He's a gunslinger. He's a poor man Favre, but I just don't feel like he has it, because sometimes when he sling that ball around, man, he can get you 3 or 4 touchdowns, or hell, 3 or 4 interceptions, man. It's like 50-50 with him. It's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks, man. And if he's out there on the market, him and Deshaun Jackson, man, those guys, I mean, Deshaun Watson, let me clean that up too as well, excuse me. If him and Watson are out there, man, somebody's going to get Wilson, and somebody's going to definitely try to scoop up, Watson as well. But I want to ask you guys this as well. Do you think that Tua Tagovailoa did enough right now in his 4-0 start to be able to stay with the Miami Dolphins? Do you feel like his time is up? Because I feel like he has been getting unfairly treated as well over there with the Dolphins, because we've been hearing the trade rumors ever since he came over there. But I feel like Tua, in a healthy season, definitely playing good. Yes, I think he has. Yeah, man. Him and Jaden Wilder is really making strides, man. It's good to have a guy that you know and you can depend on, man, because that's his security blanket. Most times it'll be a tight end, and Gesicki's a hell of a tight end. But, man, Jaden Wilder's starting to become his own over there, man, and they've been looking good on offense, and they've really been clicking on defense. They get them, turnovers, man. Brian Flores is a defensive mastermind, man. He learned from the evil empire itself and Coach Bill Belichick. So I definitely feel like that's a team that people need to watch out for, because they're slept on. And I still feel like they can win or gather up like 4 or 5 more wins. They can still be in a playoff hunt. But I feel like with that man right now, man, he done enough to stay in Miami. I don't know what's going to happen with Watson yet, but I feel like, to be honest with you, if he came available for Miami or either Wilson, I think that Tua will be the odd man looking in, so that's how I look at that situation. It's a few good scenarios that's going on right now. I kind of gave y'all that Jaguars-Ram game. I don't feel like that's something I didn't even want to talk about, but it's going to be a good game. The Ravens and the Steelers are at home. That's the one I'm going to keep my eye on, because I just feel like right now, do you guys feel like Lamar Jackson reached his ceiling? I feel like this year, I feel like he's still sick, or I think he got COVID or something really kind of holding him back, because he doesn't seem like he has the same energy and elusiveness, man. He just don't seem like he's the same player. And definitely throwing all those picks in that game. That was another awful game, that Cleveland Browns and the Ravens game, man. It was just something I definitely dozed off and went to sleep on, and glad I did. But I still feel like this Ravens and Steelers game got a lot going on there, because with a loss, that can make the Ravens like 8-4, and the Steelers can be 6-5. They'll still have a chance to try to, leapfrog them in that division. The injuries to the Ravens backfield has definitely affected them. Yeah, man. I feel like a lot of those guys hurt them, man. I think J.K. Dobbins would have been excellent right now if healthy. But, yeah, they've been just basically scrambling around all the dudes and getting free agents. And basically right now they doing what they have. And I still feel like if they can get like some of those guys back, or if they could have got J.K. Dobbins back, it'll definitely mean it'll be more impactful for them. I think that Lamar Jackson to be more comfortable. I feel like in this game against the Steelers are banged up and they have a lot of injury issues, but I just still feel like Ben is not playing at a high caliber right now. Yeah, don't get me wrong, Juju Smith-Schuster's hurt, but I just don't feel like Chase Claypool is playing great as well, man. He let them down the last game they played with all those drop passes, man. He's going to have to get it together, man, because when everybody was paying attention to Juju Smith-Schuster, that's when Chase Claypool got off. Big Ben is done. I told you. I didn't even want to play. I definitely feel like with all his injuries and stuff that caught up with him, but you can also see it too. He doesn't have that same deep accuracy he used to have. That's why he dink and dunk all the time. But I still feel like in that game, no matter how bad Lamar Jackson would play. And I feel like, which I still believe is going to be a 2-touchdown victory for the Ravens. I think that that's going to be something that I'm looking for, man. They're still 2 games behind, the Ravens. So, but that's still kind of good as far as a divisional matchup because what if the Steelers win? They'll only be a game out, and they can still probably get that division. The 49ers and the Seahawks game is going to determine everything right now for me. I want to see, and this is not really nothing with playoff implications or anything of that nature. I want to see how Russ play. I want to see his body language, and I want to see him see how he do. Is he going to give his all, or is he going to just dog it and go through the motions? Because right now he doesn't have anything to play for. They're 3-8. They looked absolutely terrible the last game they played, and they couldn't beat a Washington football team. Not taking no credit away from them, because they were like the number 2 defense in the league last year. And I felt like they were overwhelmed this year, and they're starting to get back to their basics. But them 49ers been clicking, man. I'm disappointed right now that my boy Debo ain't going to play. But I still feel like Ayuk going to act a fool. They got Mitchell running the ball like crazy, and I feel like they're getting back to their basics now. Jimmy G has one of the best play-action passes and play-action pass accuracy there is when he has a run game. When he don't have a run game, that's when he struggle. That's when I question him a lot. And I have every reason to because he's still not proven himself. But I feel like in that game, I want to see how Russ play because I want to see his body language and I want to see what he does, man, because I definitely feel like after this year, we already know they're out the playoffs and they will miss the playoffs after 9 seasons, that he will be making his exit. That Broncos and Colts game is starting to look more spicier by the minute. I didn't want to talk about it at first, but when I look at it, I think about this. The Broncos are 6-5. When Teddy Bridgewater's on, he's on. I do like that young defense. And what's crazy about it is Von Miller's gone, and they seem like they woke up. Pass. But I actually still feel like that's a really good matchup, though, E, because the fact is the implications and the actual division being on the line. Because I'm not saying the Chiefs are going to lose, and I got them by a 2-touchdown or a 10-point favor. But if Patrick Surtain and that defense can maintain them or get some good plays going, and Cortland Sutton and some of them guys on the offense like Melvin Gordon can click, and Javon Williams, if they could just put a good game plan together to compete and just maintain Patrick Mahomes and company and can pull off that W, they'll both be 7-5. And guess who will be in the top of that division then? By the Chargers beating the Chiefs, if they can pull out this game this week, then they could definitely be at the top of that division. I'm not really sure about that. I can't say that they will beat the Bengals. Definitely at home, not the way they playing, man, because Burrows is lights out right now. And he got his boy over there with him, man. Jamar Chase. I just feel like right now that's a tough task, though. Not saying it won't happen, but yeah, that's definitely a tough task. This game is going to take us to the end of the show just about, man. And I want to say the best for last, and I know that's why you were saying he wanted to pass. But let's get into this one, man. You got the 2 teams right now, 2 of the better teams in their division. What's crazy about that, too, all of them are playing great. The only team that's not at 500, well, it's 2 teams that are not 500, but they all won last week, and that was the first time I've seen that happen since, 2015, when every AFC team won. Stop playing, E, man. You want to piss me off. That's why you said that, man. You did that on purpose. I ain't like seeing that, man. If you really feel that way, he ain't even mad at you, man. But this is gonna be a good one, though, man. It's gonna be hard too. I wouldn't even be surprised if the Bills pulled it off, because the boys playing at home. They got a lot to prove. They stunk it up against the Titans, and I don't think they want to be remembered that way. They stunk it up against the Titans. They beat down and took it out on the Saints, and now they got to play uh, clicking on all cylinders. New England team who's playing with an advantage. They're playing with themselves. They're playing and saying, "Hey, we're gonna play within ourselves. We're not gonna overdo it. We're not gonna do too much." It's kind of like the old school Patriots team before Tom Brady became who he was. They let the defense dictate the games, and they get those turnovers. You got my boys in second in the league with interceptions, second to Trayvon Diggs, a Bama person, get it right. But J.C. Jackson, man, he's been balling out of control. Remember, I told you, man, what is wrong with the Patriots? Are they stupid? When Stephon Gilmore left and he went to the Panthers. But look how the Panthers are playing right now. It seems like they starting to fall apart. It ain't just only the quarterback play, but the defense hasn't been playing so good as well, which Stephon Gilmore is on that defense. I mean, he can't do it all himself, but that was one of the top 5 defenses at one point. I don't know where they rank now, but I'm just saying that's the team Stephon Gilmore is on right now. Jalen Mills is not the best cornerback. I've seen him get toasted on so many plays from when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles and now, but I think he's starting to play better, though. He'd be like one of the first people in the building because, I'm still watching. I scout the New England Patriots, and he'd be one of the last ones to leave. He's definitely been playing much better. He's not getting burned as much, and he's been playing within himself. And that's all you can ask of him. Don't get no stupid penalties, and don't get torched. But that J.C. Jackson's out of control right now, man. A lot of people feel like Diggs is going to make a mark against him. Stephon Diggs, they think that he's going to basically have his number. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be evenly matched, and it's going to be a better matchup than people give credit. But this game can go either way. It could go like Patriots 31 and Bills 28, or Bills 34 and Patriots 31. I'm not for sure. But at the same time, if push comes to shove and I have to choose, I'm going to go with my squad. I have the Patriots rather than the Bills being a 2.5 point favor, and I definitely feel like the Patriots will win 28-30 in this game. I feel like they're not going to let the Bills' best player beat them. That's just Bill Belichick and what he does. He's not going to let them beat him. So Stephon Diggs is going to get a lot of pressure on him. No surprise there. Come on, man. Like I said, it could go any way, man. But I just feel like, what I'm going to go at? And I read this article recently. After how they ran up the score on New England last year on Monday night in New England and embarrassed them. I know you remember that game. I wasn't too happy about it. And I said, man, I was embarrassed. Go Lady Huskies. I was definitely embarrassed, man, that game. And to see, I just didn't feel like I felt like Cam came out and played flat. And as much as I like him, it's starting to seem like that comeback story is starting to look flat as well. But I think, like I said, Matt Jones will play within himself. I feel like the defense who get to the quarterback or make the most plays will win. The reason why I have New England winning too is Tre'Davious White's not playing. That's huge for them. To lose that guy, I actually was clapping a little bit. I had my fingers crossed when I found out he was hurt. Now I found out he's out the rest of the season. Like I said, I don't wish no luck or no bad luck on any person getting hurt. But I didn't lose no sleep when I found out he wasn't going to be playing this game, and let alone out the rest of the year. That would have probably been the factor right there. Yes, that's a big loss. Yeah, he's definitely top 3, 4 cornerback in the league, and for him to be hurt, man, I think that whichever the weakest leak at the cornerback they're going to go after. I feel like Nelson Aguilar needs to step up more, but Kendrick Bourne's going to get those yards at the catch in their ground and pound game. They're not shabby, man. Ramondre Stevenson is a power runner, man, and they got like workhorses in their backfield. And Damian Harris is just as elusive, man. The only difference is funny as it sounds, the bigger back catches passes in Stevenson. But I'm looking forward to that game, though, and I definitely will be there. I will have my popcorn ready. I'm definitely going for my Patriots, man. But it's not really no games that come out to me after that. Like, they had that Chargers and the Bears game, but I definitely feel like I got the Chargers by 10 as well. But I want to bring up the game from last week too, man, with the Colts and the Buccaneers. I feel like that game kind of was a relief or something that the Bucs needed, because I definitely feel like with AB being out, and he's going to be out longer now because he just got suspended for having a fake vaccination card. He finally fully got vaccinated, they said, but at the time, when he fired his chef, it ain't nothing worse than a worker or woman or anybody in your circle scorn. And if you humiliate them or do what he did, like when he dismissed his chef, dummy, the chef said, hey, this guy's not fully vaccinated. They did their background check, because me and E talked about that a couple days ago. And I said, do you really think something is up with this guy, AB? Do you think that he's really hurt? It can't be an ankle injury. I don't think he's going to be out that long, because he had that ankle injury in week 5 or 6. And for them to keep postponing and postponing, I thought that their organization knew that something was going to happen, and that's why they kept him out, because they didn't want to get too comfortable with him being back and then that backlash coming back with the, fake vaccination card. And so that's why he was suspended 3 games. We talk about this all the time on the show. He talks about it on his own show, Get Off My Lawn. Most of us have our say on that, man. You can't play around with that. If you're not vaccinated, just be honest, man, and say you're not. Just go through the proper protocols, man. Wear your mask and don't be everywhere showing your behind. Don't be showing your ass trying to party and doing everything and being out without your mask. And then all of a sudden you get caught up in that, and then you have a dumb look on your face. We don't want to get into that with anybody, because there's a lot of players got caught up in that situation as of late and got exposed in the NFL, in the NBA. But I just feel like, be honest, now you suspended. I don't know how much it will hurt the Bucs, but like I said, man, you just can't go out and make bad decisions like that and hurt your team. I feel like they did a pretty good job playing the Colts last week. This game against Atlanta, I won't take nothing from Atlanta, because they've been playing pretty well. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucs win by 10 points, because it seems like they just can't put their foot on Atlanta's throat. It's a division game, so it's going to be a tough one. I feel like they wouldn't have had that blowout lead they had the last game if it wasn't for those 2 pick sixes. But I feel like the Buccaneers are meshing right now. I think that Gronk was he was a more importance of that team than having Bucs got too many weapons. Yeah, I agree. I think that you're starting to see right now, though, Gronk was a huge boost. And was so funny, too. I know the Falcons wasn't his original team, but if Gronk could get 100 yards this weekend, you already know I was on that and I was doing my research, E. If Gronk get 100 yards this weekend against the Falcons, he will surpass my man's Tony Gonzalez with the most 100-yard games by a tight end. I know he would say, if anybody can do it, I'll be happy for Gronk. I know deep down inside he don't want that record to be broken, but eventually it will. I think right now, yeah, they have a lot of weapons over there, and I still feel like AB could take those 3-game suspension. I'm just hoping Sharp Harriman can step up and do what he needs to do as well. But at the end of the day, we all make choices, man. You got to make the right choices. I wish that didn't happen to him, but man, you can't lie and get away with it. He's lucky it's just a 3-game suspension, man, because man, it seems like those guys get so much treatment, man. They get treated so, man, they so damn spoiled. At a regular job, man, if they wanted me to work and they say, Hugh, you got to show your vaccination card, and if you don't, then you got to take a random test, or they'll say I don't have a job at all. Who knows? And I give them a fake card, and then they find out eventually that I have a fake vaccination card, man. That's federal, man. That's federal crime. You can't do that, but it seems like those guys always get away with it, man. I don't know, man. They must have been born with silver spoons in their mouth. Hell, a 3-game suspension is a slap on the wrist. I'm not saying, get rid of them the whole season, even though it's not a lot of the season left, but man, come on now. And I love AB, man. He's one of my favorite wide receivers in the game, man. At one point, he was considered the best wide receiver. When he's on and he got his mind right, he still is one of the most dangerous guys in the game. But man, I guess when you can run as fast as they are and as good as athletes as they are, you can get away with anything. But on that note, you guys, I had a wonderful night. It was cool doing the solo show. I hope that I could do it again soon, man. A possibility that this might be something pointing in a new direction for me on Nighthawk Network. Thank you for all the people who tuned in. Thank you, E. And I feel like before I go, I got to plug y'all in on my hookup too, man. Pure to the game. Go to that website when you want to get your daily hookup on the news, man. That's all I do, man. When I'm not on the show, I'll be doing my pure to the game. Big ups and much love to everybody who already showing me props, man. And I just want to continue to make the show great, man. And I gave a little tip to one of my homeboys, E. He basically wanted me to talk more about what was going on in injury reports, but then that's our little secret. That's our website, E. I'd be damned if they know about that. If anybody wants to know about the plug on the website with all the injured people before they play or do any of the bets, man, y'all can hit me up personally. And you know what? It's going to come with a fee. So there you go. But thank all you guys for tuning in, and thanks for all the love, man. Glad y'all appreciated the show, man. I definitely wanted to do something solo. I felt like I was ready. I was blessed to get this opportunity. Thank you, E-Buck, and thank you, Nighthawk Network. Check us out, man. We'll definitely be on at a regular time on Wednesday at 8 p.m. And thank you guys, and I appreciate all the love, and we'll be right back, man. And much love, and Audible out. Peace.
Gametime Audible is a Nighthawk Network.